What's up, everybody? This is Coach Sharf, and welcome back to, or should I say, welcome to my Algebra 2 notes, lessons, work, whatever I put on them, videos. This is the first video I'm recording for the 23-24 school year, the first video with our new curriculum. So some of these videos, at least initially, might look a little different from some of the ones I've recorded in previous years that y'all might see later on in the year. But like I told y'all in class, at least for this first assignment in particular, people still getting shuffled in and out of class. Just want to make sure everybody's caught up on this first assignment and everybody's good to go. I have tried to record this a couple times already and had various issues with it, and I think they're running a little long. So keep an eye on the time. If this starts to run long, I'll probably cut it off after that first assignment with the flipping the coin, flipping the penny, and then do a second video for the rest of the assignment. But I'm gonna try to get through a little quicker, so we'll see what happens. All right, let me share my screen and we can get started. So, I've told y'all since the first day of school, we're going to be using the computer a lot. Y'all should get in the habit, unless I say otherwise, of getting your laptop out as soon as you get to class and getting on Canvas. So I'm on my Canvas dashboard. I'm going to go into first period. I still want to change the titles of that so it says advanced algebra first period. I'll worry about that later. This is the first period class, though. You're going to go into assignments, and we're doing using simulation to model chance behavior. So we're going to click on that. There's 4 links that y'all can currently see. There's 3 links to websites that we're actually going to use during the assignment, and then the link for the worksheets. These are going to be key, as I said in class. I don't know if we're going to get the copies, at least the way we were thinking, from, I still think they're trying to come from the county. I don't know about coming from the state. And I can't make this worksheet for this assignment 7 pages on the PDF, which I'll see in a second. So even if I did front and back, that would be 3 front and back pages, and then a 4th page with the 7th total page on it. So 4 pages times 160 kids is 640. One of the other teachers suggested I do half pages, front and back. Again, which is a little more manageable. I'd have to kind of play with it and see how it actually, looks when printed out. But, for right now, you're going to have the worksheets. All the worksheets will be on Canvas when we're doing them in class. You have them pulled up to follow along, and we'll put the work in your notebooks. So this first lesson, using simulation to model chance behavior, first lesson in Unit 1, first lesson of the year. So with our new standards, they have flipped where we normally do the statistics unit. The statistics unit has been the last unit, at least since I've been at Newton, since I've started teaching, including the first year I taught before I came to Newton. The state wanted to change it, I guess. They have reasoning for all the changes that they made. So now it's here at the beginning. When y'all have done your statistics units in 9th and 10th grade, 9th grade was mean, median, mode, that kind of stuff. Last year was probability. What our statistics unit this year is focusing on is collecting data, the process of collecting data, how we go about asking questions to collect data, asking the right questions, designing surveys, performing experiments, the right kind of experiments, all that different kind of stuff that, when we do those things will give us data. And then once we have that data, we can then take that data and analyze it, just as the raw data alone, or we can analyze it with things such as probability or mean, median, mode, things like that. This first unit is actually, or this first lesson in the first unit is going to be using probability It's using simulations to model chance behavior. I asked y'all at the beginning of the lesson what a simulation was. Again, we'll go over a little more in depth at the end, either the end of this video, if I'd wind up squeezing it into one, or the end of the second video. But basically, a simulation is an act that we do that takes the place of another act. So, again, those y'all sat through some class, instead of going out and buying 30 bottles of soda, we roll the dice to simulate that. There's other simulations. Like I said, if you've seen The Matrix, if you play sports games and simulate games, or if you play football and you don't like playing defense, you play offense, score a touchdown, let the defense simulate the next drive, get back on the field and offense. So different things like that. So the first thing we did was this coin flip lesson. Okay. First thing we did was this coin flip lesson, this coin flip task. That's the first thing in the worksheet. So you would click on this, and where is it? Right here, I think. Yeah. This is what would pop up. So on your paper, I actually don't have my notebook with me. I was trying to model it in notebook so y'all can see how to write if you didn't have anything written, but I left it at school. I'm obviously at my house. So if you still don't have anything written, top of the page in the top margin, you're going to put using simulation to model chance behavior. Then below that first line, or even first couple lines, if you want to write it a little bigger, you're going to put probability coin toss, just so I know what I'm looking at when you go to take a picture and upload this. Put your name in the corner as well. You don't have to literally copy this how it is. You can just put your name in the upper right-hand corner of your paper. So what I wanted y'all to do was, this is what I had everybody do in class. I'm not going to have y'all copy the questions most of the time, but just to kind of get a starting point, these are shorter questions. I had everybody write these questions. So you're going to write the questions for 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to write this little blurb down here. So y'all can take a second to pause that if you need to. Leave some room to put your answers, but y'all can take a second to do that. I'll actually pause for a split second in the video, which will actually give y'all a chance to actually pause it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here for 5 minutes of dead air while y'all are doing that. So pause the video, write that down, and then we can go on to talk about the answers. All right, you got the questions written down, so let's talk about these. Number 1, when you toss a fair penny, what are the possible outcomes? Yeah. Easy question everybody should know. Two sides of a penny, two sides of any coin are heads and tails. So you're going to put heads and tails, heads or tails, whichever way you want to say it. So heads or tails for number 1. I will actually go ahead and write that in. I think I just flipped upside down a little board I used to write with. I will go ahead and write that in for you. Heads and tails. What is this list of all possible outcomes called? It's called the sample space. I was actually kind of surprised. Again, y'all, I'm pretty sure being probability, y'all just talked about it at the end of geometry last year. And I struggled for a minute to come up with this when we did it in our training, if I'm being honest. But 5 out of the 6 classes were able to give me the answer pretty quick. So sample, that's supposed to be BE. Sample, SAMPLE space. Based on its information, what's the probability of flipping a coin and having it land on heads? Well, of course, we know when we flip a coin, it's 50-50, right? So 50%, we can actually copy that down here where it says, write your answer as a fraction, decimal, or percent. So 50% to turn into a decimal. If we need a little refresher, when we have a percentage, if it's a whole number, the decimal is after the whole number before the percent. So we would move it 2 spots to the left. You get 0.5. 0.50 is technically correct, but you're never going to see that extra zero. It has no meaning. You could put 0.5 in front. That's more acceptable. I'm just going to leave this 0.5. Then turn that into a fraction, which of course would be 1/2. So there's your first 3 answers. Again, if you need to pause to get the answers down, do that. I'm leaving that up to y'all though. Like I said, I'm trying to get through the video as quick as I can. All right. So for number 4, you do number 4 slightly different. Go ahead and put the number 4 on your paper. I'll try to kind of write it to the side so y'all can see it. Go ahead and put the number 4 on your paper. And then you're going to write predict and experiment. You don't have to write the questions. You don't have to do the fill in the blank part. You don't have to do the frequency table that's right here. You're just going to put predict, experiment. We're going to predict how many heads and tails we should get. And then we're actually going to do the experiment. If you flip a coin 30 times, how many times did you expect it to see it land on tails? How many times did you expect it to see it land on heads? Well, again, with the ideal 50-50 probability, flip a coin 30 times, you would expect 15 heads and 15 tails. Of course, we know the odds of that actually happening are, not great. But we're actually going to test it out. So experiment, flip your penny 30 times and record the results. Well, even if y'all had actually done that in class, I can't flip a penny. I don't have a document camera where I could also be streaming from that and I could flip a coin and y'all would see it land. So this is where you need to go back to Canvas. Click on your first link, Coin Flip Simulator, which will take you to here. It'll take you to this. A coin flip simulator, it's actually 2 coins. We're just going to flip them 2 at a time. I click flip again. That's going to be your first flip, and it's going to be 2. I'm going to keep the verbal count counting up to 30. Y'all need to count along and keep track of the heads and tails while I'm doing. All right, everybody ready? Here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. So there's your 30 flips. If you were counting along, I believe you should have gotten 17 heads and 13 tails. So that's what you would put here, 17 heads, 13 tails. So that's what needs to be on your sheet. Number 4. Number 5, did your results match your prediction exactly? If not, why do you think the results may have been different? So obviously they did not. We did not get 15 and 15, right? So again, you don't have to write this question, but for number 5, we're going to put no. If not, why do you think they may have been different? Well, let's think about that probability, that 50-50 probability. That's only guaranteed for one flip. You're either going to get heads or you're going to get tails. That's guaranteed. Beyond that, chance becomes involved, though. It's not guaranteed if you flip 2 coins, you're going to get 1 head and 1 tail. It's not guaranteed if you flip 10 coins, you're going to get 5 heads and 5 tails, regardless of the order. If you alternate head, tail, 5 times, if you flip 5 heads in a row than 5 tails in a row. It's not guaranteed. So the probability, the 50% probability that we're talking about, is truly only guaranteed on that first flip. When you start to flip the coin more than once, again, if you're just checking your work, you might already have something similar to this written. If it's not the same verbatim, but you can leave it as is, you don't have to change it. More than one flip creates chance. More than one flip creates chance. All right, so that's for number 5. And I do believe I'm going to end the video after this first assignment. I actually don't even know if I'm going to have y'all write anymore. We'll just talk about these last few questions. What do you think might happen if we combine the results from all the students in the class? Well, this is now how we have to talk about taking our data and analyzing it. We said we had 17 heads and 13 tails. Okay. We had 17 heads and 13 tails on our original, on our tosses, right? That's for 30 flips. If about half my classes are at 30 kids now, at least 30 kids on the roster. So if everybody had flipped 30 coins, 30 times 30 is 900. So if we're combining the results and we're analyzing 900 flips, do we think, knowing the first 30 flips were 17 heads and 13 tails, do we think that's going to help us out? No, it's not. But if we change this into percentages, this would be about 57% heads and 43% tails. Now we got some percentages and we actually have something we can use. Do we think we're going to continue to flip 57% heads and 43% tails if we flip 900 coins? Let's bump it up to 1,000 so we can get some even numbers. If I flip 1,000 coins, am I going to get 570 heads and 430 tails? Probably not. Okay. So this goes back to one of your vocab terms. Again, the odd classes might have seen it the Wednesday I was out last week. So that was Wednesday the 9th, a week ago from the day I'm recording this. When you have a small amount of simulations, in this case, small amount of coin flips, that creates a lot of variability. You can, again, 1730 is not a huge split, but I had some classes that were a split of 20 and 10. You could wind up getting 26 heads and 4 tails. When you have a smaller amount of flips, there's an increased chance of that variability. But the more you flip, the law of large number states, the more you flip, the more trials you run, your average is going to get closer to the expected average. It's going to remain around the expected average if it started higher. So the more coins we flip, we should get closer to 50%. Now, with the data that was given to us, this number is kind of interesting, okay? 57% heads, 43% tails. Again, if you think in terms of this, 1,000 flips, you get 570 heads, 430 tails, 140 more heads than you would have tails. Yeah, that's probably unlikely, okay? Over 1,000 flips. So that percentage might actually shrink down a little bit. It might come back closer to, 55% heads, 45% tails, 53% heads, 47% tails. But staying in this percentage is not necessarily out of the question. I would think my expectation would be over 1,000 flips, it would get closer to 50-50. But it wouldn't necessarily be unreasonable if the percentage stayed close to this. Now, again, over the course of 1,000 flips, 30 coins isn't a lot. Over the course of 1,000 flips, if these percentages are actually going to get wider, 60% heads, 40% tails. Now it's starting to become more unlikely because, again, if you're thinking in terms of 1,000 flips, 600 heads, 400 tails, the odds of that happening aren't very high. Okay. We can actually do the math on this. You don't have to write it down so you can skip it, but We could have written the trials for each class here. A couple classes had 20 heads, 10 tails. One had 11 heads, 19 tails. We could have done that, but I'll go ahead and tell you right now, the percentage wasn't going to change much from this. It might have gone down a tiny bit, but it was actually still going to stay pretty close to this. It wasn't going to drop all the way to 50-50 or get higher than what it was. All right, let me clear that. So that's number 6. Number 7 would just, if we combined it, number 8 is the combined closer total to your original prediction. Well, let's do this. You don't have to write them down. I'll write them down for you, though, and we'll see. Okay? You don't have to write this down. I'll do the math for you, and we'll see what we get. Okay? So we just did 17 heads, 13 tails. 2 classes had 20 and 10. 1 class had 11 heads, 19 tails. 1 had 16 heads, 14 tails. 1 had 14 heads, 16 tails, which basically canceled each other out. And then there's another 17 heads and 13 tails. So, if we're kind of sitting and looking at it, those would definitely cancel each other out. I'll actually add them up, but just in terms of kind of analyzing it, these two would basically cancel each other out. So looking at it in terms of that, well, those cancel each other out. I have another 17 and 13, but then I have a 20 and 10. So my percentage is actually going to maybe go up a little bit. Well, that's incorrect, because when we think about canceling each other out, this comes out to 50%, 50-50. This would be 31-29, so not quite 50-50, but close. So, these pairs and these pairs would actually be a lower percentage than 57% and 43%. So, I still believe our percentage is going to come down slightly. If we add those up, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to scroll right here just to leave it so we can look. And if you want to add them up in your head, you can do that. I will do so. Got 115 heads. It should be 95 tails. 33, 43, 52, 82, 95 tails. So 115 heads, 95 tails. So I would do 115 divided by 210. The total, get 54.76%. So 0.5476, so we can round that up to 55. So this is actually 55% to 45%. So our results came down slightly from 57 and 43 to 55 and 45. So our combined closer did get a little closer to our 50-50 original prediction. All right, so that's the first half of this assignment. Just be honest with y'all, got some other chores around the house to do, so we'll see if I record this, the other half of this tonight. We'll have to see. I at least got this, so once it finishes downloading, I'll put it to YouTube and put it up. I'll send a remind message out. It is right at about 9 o'clock. If I don't get to do the other video tonight, I will do it during my lunch planning tomorrow. Get it uploaded, and my like I was saying during the classes the last couple of days, I will extend the due date until Sunday. So if you got any questions, let me go ahead and stop sharing just so y'all can see me. If you got any questions, let me know. Everybody should be signed up for mine now. I know there's about, I feel like I'm about 50 people short based on the number of in there in my class roster sizes, but go ahead and sign up for mine if you have not. The code, I'm going to say it verbally, just in case you still have not, is at 79HG4D. 79 lowercase h, lowercase g, 4 lowercase d. So send me any questions if you got them on your mind. Otherwise, I will see y'all in class.